Let me ask you something. Have you ever sat down to study, opened your book, stared at the page, and suddenly realized 10 minutes passed, but you didn't absorb anything? It's frustrating. You feel like you're putting in effort, but nothing sticks. And the more you push, the heavier everything feels, like your brain is working against you. I used to feel the same way. I thought I just wasn't naturally smart, or that other students somehow had a secret I didn't know. Asterisk, but what I eventually learned is this. Studying isn't about being smart, it's about using habits that make your brain's job easier. And the good news, those habits are simple, research-backed, and anyone can build them. Today, I want to share 5 science-backed habits that make studying easier, more consistent, and even a little enjoyable. Not by working harder, but by understanding how your brain actually learns. Asterisk, by the end of this video, you'll know why your focus drops after a certain point, how to naturally improve memory without extra studying, the habit top-performing students use to avoid burnout, and small changes that help you remember more in less time. These are habits you can start today. No complicated systems, no aesthetic study routines, just simple, evidence-based strategies. So let's start with habit number 1, because if you skip this one, the rest won't matter. One of the biggest mistakes students make is forcing long, uninterrupted study sessions. It feels productive. But research consistently shows that our focus naturally dips after about 20 to 30 minutes. This is where the 25-to-5 learning rhythm comes in. You study for 25 minutes, then rest for 5 minutes. A full cycle takes 30 minutes, and your brain gets a reset before it hits exhaustion. This isn't just a time management trick. There's neuroscience behind it. Asterisk, when you take a short break, your brain clears mental fatigue. Your attention resets, and your memory circuits consolidate what you just learned. Think of it like lifting weights. You don't do 200 reps straight, you do sets, with rest in between. Studying works the same way. Mini story. When I first tried this, I actually resisted. I thought 25 minutes is too short. I need a full hour to get into flow. But when I forced myself to follow the rhythm, something surprising happened. My concentration improved, and I stopped dragging through my sessions. Common pitfall. Don't use the 5-minute break to scroll your phone. Your brain needs a real pause, not another hit of stimulation. Try stretching, looking out the window, or just sitting back. It sounds simple, but it works. Asterisk, if I could only give you one habit, it would be this. Active recall, studying by retrieving information rather than rereading it. Here's what students usually do. They read a chapter, highlight some lines, maybe rewrite the notes. But all of those are passive. Your brain doesn't actually learn by seeing information again. It learns by pulling it out. Science shows this over and over. Testing yourself strengthens memory far more than reviewing. So how do you actually apply it? Close the book and explain the concept in your own words, cover your notes, and recall what you remember. Use flashcards, but emphasize thinking before flipping quiz yourself instead of rewriting summaries. Example. If you're studying biology, don't reread the cell diagram. Close it, draw it from memory, and fill in the labels. You'll be shocked by how much you don't remember, and that's the point. Every time you struggle to remember something, the memory gets stronger. Asterisk, mini story. I once met a student who barely studied for exams, yet consistently scored high. Her secret? She quizzed herself constantly, even while walking to class. Short bursts of recall beat long hours of passive reviewing. Pitfall. Don't wait until the night before the exam to use active recall. It works best when spread over days, not hours. Asterisk, let's build on the previous habit. If active recall is the engine of learning, spaced repetition is the fuel that keeps the engine running for months. Your brain forgets naturally, it's part of how it filters information. But spacing review sessions at increasing intervals teaches your brain. This information matters. Here's how spacing typically works. Review on day 1 when you learn it. Review on day 3, review 1 week later, review 2 weeks later, review 1 month later, just 5 touch points. Far less than what most students do, and the memory becomes surprisingly strong. Example. If you're learning physics formulas, reviewing them 5 times over a month is far better than reviewing them 10 times in one day. Asterisk, mini story. When I first learned about spaced repetition, I honestly didn't believe it. I thought, there's no way reviewing less often is better. But after trying it for one exam, I remembered almost everything effortlessly. That's when studying finally began feeling easy. Pitfall spacing only works if you actually space it. Cramming 3 sessions in one day doesn't count. Using tools like Anki helps, but even a simple schedule written on paper works. Asterisk, this is the most underrated habit. We talk a lot about discipline, motivation, time management. But we often forget that your environment shapes your attention more than your willpower. Your brain is built to react to cues, a buzzing phone, an open tab, clutter on your desk, a noisy room. Each cue pulls a tiny bit of attention, and those bits add up. Here's the science-backed approach. Before you start studying, spend 60 seconds designing your environment. Put your phone in another room, close unnecessary tabs. Clear your desk except for the materials you need, adjust lighting so it feels calm. Not harsh if noise bothers you, use neutral background sound, just 60 seconds. Mini story. When I was in university, I studied in noisy cafes, thinking it made me feel productive. But on days I went to a quiet corner of the library, I finished the same amount of work in half the time. That's when I realized it wasn't me, it was the environment. Asterisk pitfall. Don't aim for perfection. Your space doesn't need to look aesthetic. It just needs to be uncluttered and predictable. Your brain learns, when I'm here, I study. That's powerful. This habit is for the days when even opening your book feels heavy. Sometimes the problem isn't studying, it's starting. Your brain sees studying as a big, energy-demanding task, so it delays. Micro starts fix that. The idea is simple. Commit to just 30 seconds. Not 1 hour, not even 10 minutes. Just 30 seconds of action. Open the book, read the first paragraph, write the first sentence, solve the first small problem. Once you begin, momentum takes over. Your brain shifts from resistance mode to progress mode. Asterisk example. Instead of telling yourself, I'll study chemistry for 2 hours, say, I'll spend 30 seconds opening the chapter and reading the first 2 lines. Most of the time, you'll continue naturally. Mini story. This trick saved me during exam season. Some days I felt so overwhelmed that even thinking about studying stressed me out. But once I told myself, just 30 seconds, the pressure disappeared, and I always ended up doing more than I expected. Pitfall. Don't turn 30 seconds into a secret productivity hack you must feel motivated for. It's supposed to feel easy. If you're tired, do 30 seconds and stop. Some days, that's enough. Before we wrap up, let's address a few common mistakes. Trying all 5 habits at once. You don't need to overhaul your entire routine. Choose one habit and build it slowly. Turning habits into strict rules. If you force everything rigidly, these habits should support you, not pressure you, mistaking more hours for better studying. Studying effectively is about technique, not time. 2 focused hours beat 6 distracted ones. For getting rest, your brain can't function without breaks, sleep, and downtime. Productivity without recovery is unsustainable. Let's quickly recap the 5 science-backed habits. 25-5, learning rhythm short. Study bursts, protect your focus. Active recall, pull information out of your brain instead of rereading. Spaced repetition, review at increasing intervals for long-term memory. Environment design, set up your space so your brain stays calm and focused. Micro starts, use 30-second beginnings to beat procrastination. These habits make studying easier, not because they make you smarter, but because they reduce friction. They work with your brain, not against it. If there's one thing I want you to take from this video, it's this. You're not bad at studying. You just haven't learned the habits that make studying feel manageable. Try one of these methods today, just one, and feel the difference. And if you found this helpful, consider subscribing for more simple, science-backed strategies to study better and improve your daily life. You've got this. I'll see you in the next one.